Hey, this is Almighty Oracle back again for another segment of Unboxing Comics Weekly. The best thing about one-shots is that they are single, as in one and done, no more. However, there are exceptions, like the first one I'll show you here, Clone Conspiracy Omega, which is the bookend to the first part of the series, and heavily featuring the Rhino for this final chapter. The newest character from Danger Zone is Dollface. Her free comic book day issue is already heating up, and her very first issue is already going for a lot of money. This one comes 2 weeks early, St. Patrick's Day special with various covers, but this is the most appropriate one I could find, NSFW. IDW has a particular theme every year. The Deviations continues with the X-Files, where Samantha Mulder is the agent, not her brother Fox, and they have a mashup cover of their different properties. So as you can see here, 2 TV series perhaps meeting in the near future, Orphan Black with Dana and Fox. Carrying on with IDW, their selection of annuals, Judge Dredd 2017, My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, and for the hardcore 50-plus-year-olds, the original series, but reprinting the property from Gold Key Comics. Affordable and nostalgic. One more one-shot, long-awaited, somewhat delayed, Riverdale. I have to admit, I find it's a guilty pleasure, and I'm quoting one of the workers here, Austin. He has the same taste as I do in terms of this series. 5 episodes in on the CW, Thursday nights, Friday nights on Netflix. Anyways, main cover here, but more importantly, cover C is by Adam Gorin, a local artist, Mississauga man himself, who's finally getting his rising status. There are various other covers, I believe 10 in total. Dan Parent, who definitely emulates the original style, on my left. Pop's Chocolate Shop. And there is a connecting cover featuring all letters of the series. Plus, of course, the typical or expected blank cover where you can get anyone with any talent to draw. Marvel Disney XD, not featured enough or not featured at all, but I'll do my best to carry on. The animated series are still airing, although Ultimate Spider-Man is definitely into the last season. It's going to be relaunched as a Spectacular Spider-Man. And I also have here Avengers Ultron Revolution. Catch them on Disney XD. Last month we had the Joe Jusko painted corner box variants. This month it's all about the symbiote, Venom. Venomized covers we have for Avengers, Champions, Doctor Strange, Deadpool, and Doctor Strange. I was trying to do it alphabetically as best as I could. But obviously I think this one's gonna go big, considering the color scheme. It looks like Carnage. You get the idea. 2 indie books, one from a very small company, the Acme Inc. Rock and Roll Biography Series, number 8, featuring Pantera, who had its heyday back in the mid-'80s. And although I've never read this series, Joshua Williamson is currently writing The Flash for DC Rebirth. I'm definitely reading that. What's interesting is, apparently, any of you readers out there who might be a little upset, you'll have to go through it to find out for sure. What would a week be without mentioning what I just said, DC Rebirth. Brand new storyline, Superman Reborn, leading up to another major storyline in the next few months. I like this second cover for Nightwing. The new arc is called Nightwing Must Die, but any aficionado will know, even though I'm going to tell you, it's emulating Batman and Robin, number 1, Grant Morrison, Frank Whiteley. And one book I haven't mentioned, I don't think, too much, but I definitely read as well, and I recommend, are the newest Emerald Gladiators on Earth, Simon Baz, Jessica Cruz. The current storyline starts here, the last testament of the First Lantern, Volthoom being that character. But if you look at the second cover, more importantly, you should recognize Necron, who was the center of the Blackest Night crossover by Jeff Johns. Chapter House has relaunched its universe, and the first two offerings are right here. First being Freelance, an established Canadian comic character from the 40s, written by Jim Zub, illustrated by Adrian Wheeler, and complete with its own blankie. Another one for the grabs, Agent of Pact. Admittedly, I can't remember the acronym at this point, but I know I went to their panel at Fan Expo last year, and same thing, you can get one of these for whoever you like. Also, long overdue by Fearless Fred himself and Miko Machachik, Fourth Planet #4. This is part of their regular universe and status pending in terms of how many more it will continue. Trade time. I just mentioned Jim Zub. He also wrote the excellent Far Out 4-part mini Glitter Bomb satirizing celebrity status in Hollywood, specifically the depths of beauty. Marguerite Bennett with Animosity. First 5 issues collected here. I think I might have mentioned this before, but if I haven't, I know in conversations I have. #1 went crazy in sales, up to 5 printings. Good luck trying to find a first printing for a relatively low price. And some variants exist out there that are really exclusive. You won't find them on any sites. DC Rebirth, carrying on with those crazy criminals trying to get their life sentences reduced, the Suicide Squad. The first arc here, presenting General Zod escaping the Black Vault. It's unfortunate that this series was delayed, considering that it is Garth Ennis at the helm, but the Inhuman with a strategic mind has all 6 issues neatly wrapped up. And another Marvel offering, considering that Logan opens up in 2 days, first appearance of Laura Kinney, aka X-23, the complete series with the first 7 issues, and then the sequel, No Way Home, written by Joe Quinones. I would consider this a trade, but at the same time, perhaps not. Volume 5, The Stuff of Legend. I like the format. I like how it's thin. And it's from Third World Studios. So represent to that publisher. Reason why I do this. Controversy around the corner. After a few months hiatus, Rat Queens, Volume 2. I don't want to get into it too much, but the original artist was charged with domestic assault, domestic abuse, and that in itself, not good. However, fill-in artist came, the writer Kurtis J decided to end it, took a break, and now we have this. 3 covers for your liking, featuring the characters and featuring an actual rodent. But what's even more interesting is grabbing these, I noticed that the back, nothing, no ads, just the barcode from Shadowline. And maybe if you have multiple copies, you can get some kind of original illustration on there. Also from Image this week, Jeff Lemire, another Canadian near London, Ontario, has his take, Royal City, written and drawn by him. As you can see, 2 covers, but the back's the exact same. Aww, cute, no? And Think Tank has its own critical acclaim. I haven't read any of it, to be honest, but this one is volume 5. And admittedly, I don't know how many issues all the others are, but for your pleasure, if you so desire. I don't know how well planned these things are, but in a few more minutes, I'm going to mention another title similarly named to this one. This is from Action Lab, Americarate. It's the only cover left on the shelves, and you can see it's a little risque, but nothing most people haven't seen before. Scout Comics has a new detective genre title, Smoke Town. I like the cover. It's pretty neat. And there we go. Shout out to Scout. Dark Horse, play on words here. I would say it relates to King Arthur and his knights, but as you can see, the once and future queen. Kaboom always does well, as does Boom or Boombox. A lot of their books do not have a high print run, but either way, critical acclaim and sellouts. And I think this will be no exception with Brave Chef Brianna. And on the back, the cover of a menu at said restaurant. Two odd pairings from IDW, one called Animal Noir, the other Cosmic Scoundrels. Haven't had time to look through them, but I can more or less figure it out just based on the titles. Dynamite is really pushing the 007 franchise. Yet another offering, another mini, this one called Black Box, and written by Benjamin Percy, who's doing Green Arrow for DC Rebirth. Speaking of DC, one of their imprints, Vertigo, they don't get enough recognition. Brand new 8-part miniseries, Savage Things. And to finish, in terms of Marvel offerings, America, featuring America Chavez, once part of Young Avengers, now the leader of the Ultimates, confirmed as a lesbian character, with Gabby Rivera penning this, who is an LGBT activist. We have the regular cover with Joe Quinones. We have the action figure variant, another variant, and Scotty Young cover. And tying into their cinematic universe, a 2-part with Spider-Man Homecoming, Everyone's Friendly Neighborhood Wall Crawler, who, as you know, made an appearance in Captain America Civil War. Time for the pick of the week. Extremity #1 by Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer. Another Image. This title mixes the genres of sword and science, magic and technology, and the premise is a young girl from a peaceful tribe who just tries to live out a simple existence. However, a neighboring tribe decides to invade, and unfortunately, a massacre ensues. What's really neat about this is that there are multi-panels in pretty much the entire 20-page story. Eventually, though, you'll come to one full page throughout, which, according to my good friend Austin, employee here, calls this a breather. I have to agree, because in general, when you have too many panels, it gets a little busy. Maybe your eyes aren't always focused. Maybe your mind starts to wander, etc., etc. But I always like to notice on my end the onomatopoeia, aka sound effects, and then you get to the good part, the double-page spread, where the blood is the actual focus, the gore, the gravity of the situation. And the splatter is what really brings everything out here. And the bright and bold complements the clean inking throughout. Things don't look so good for our main character and her tribe. But considering it's only the first issue, time will tell what will happen. Thank you for your time and attention. Remember to subscribe below, and until next week.